Hello folks, welcome to the in-stock lease deals of the month for petrols, diesels, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, etc. The in-stock EV lease deals will come much later in the month than normal. It'll be in about 2 weeks, just because I've got a lot going on for the next couple of weeks. Plenty of videos scheduled in the meantime though. I've been burning the midnight oil. Burning the midnight oil to make sure I've got plenty of videos coming out. Let's get started. Pretty much all 3-year deals with 3 months up front and 10,000 miles a year. There may just be 1 or 2 that are 2-year deals, so keep an eye out for that up here. And of course, the link to lease logo is in the video description, as is a link to today's sponsor, ALA Insurance. Peugeot 2008 1.2 PureTech 130 GT automatic, 9.4 seconds to 62, insurance group 16, 131 brake horsepower, 278 a month and 835 up front. Average on this one's been 365, 518 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it so far. £278.42p. Decent little SUV, 434 litres of boot space. And to be fair, this will be enough for a family vehicle for quite a lot of people. Seat Ateca is next, 1.5 TSI Evo FR. DSG automatic, 9 seconds to 62, 42.8 mpg, 510 litres of boot space and insurance group 18, 150 horsepower, massively underrated little SUV. They're getting a little bit long in the tooth now, but brilliant car. And once again, you know, all most people would need as a family car in the real world. 866 up front and 288 a month. This is the lowest price we've seen in the last 12 months. 401 has been the average on it, 468 at its peak, and today it's 288 with 866 up front. Great little car, brilliant price. All these deals are in stock, don't forget, so they will go very quickly. So if you're interested in any of these, you need to click that link in the video description as quickly as possible. Skoda Kamiq 1 litre TSI Monte Carlo edition, £319 a month with $959 up front, 9.7 seconds to 62, 50 mpg, 400 litres of boot space, insurance group 16. Average price on this one's been £407, at its peak 462. And once again, this is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. This one's £319 a month with $959 up front. That one is the manual, by the way. There are cheaper versions of the car as well. If you went for the SE edition, you're only looking at $291 on that. And again, that's the lowest price we've seen it so far. So there is a bit of value around in these Skoda Kamiqs at the moment. So feel free to click on the link, find one that suits you and go for it. Citroen C5 Aircross 1.6 plug-in hybrid E-Series. This is the automatic, 8.2 seconds to 62, 224 brake horsepower, insurance group 28, 600 litres of boot space. 584 on average on these. Now, for the last 3 months really, the price sort of came down on them, and they've been around about 320, 328, 350 in that kind of ballpark. And then just recently they had another little drop. This is the lowest price we've seen one so far. 780 at their peak. That was in October. 780 quid a month for a Citroen C5 Aircross. I know it's a plug-in hybrid, but Stellantis pricing is bananas. And then they have to discount. 318, the current price on it is the lowest price we've seen it, and that compares to 584 a month on average. If you're thinking about leasing a car, or indeed buying a car, buying a used car, new car, whatever it is, head on over to ALA Insurance. You could get gap insurance on that Citroen, 3 years cover for about 120 quid. And if you use the code JIM10 at checkout, that will give you 10% off the purchase price. That JIM10, by the way, works on all their other products. So car warranty, that is an insured warranty. You've got all the different kinds of gap insurance. There are plenty of those. You've got key care, scratch and dent cover, alloy wheel and tyre cover. All those options available to you, and the code JIM10 gets you 10% off any of them. ALA is a family-run business. They don't have commission salespeople. All they have are customer service staff, and they are brilliant to deal with. So go and check them out, ala.co.uk, or use the link in the video description. And don't forget to use that code JIM10 at checkout to get your discount. Thanks to ALA for sponsoring today's video. Right, Cupra is next. It's the Leon 1.5 ETSI 150 V2 with the automatic gearbox, £337 a month and a grand up front. Insurance group 21, 8.7 seconds to 62, 49.6 mpg and 380 litres of boot space. Average on this one's been 414. We have seen it £2 a month less than this, £3 a month nearly. Less than this, but aside from that, it's a really good price. A peak on it was 482, average 414, currently 337 with a grand up front. If you want the estate version, that gives you a 620 litre boot, but aside from that, it's basically the same car, even the same trim level, the V2 there. That's 1100 up front and 364 a month. And if we go back on that, that's actually the best price we've seen on it. So that one looks decent value as well. MGHS, the TGDI plug-in hybrid trophy edition. The trophy on MG comes with everything. 6.8 seconds to 62, 299 brake horsepower, 507 litres of boot space. And they claim you're going to get 75 miles all electric range on this when it's plugged in. And I'm told in the real world you can get 50 out of it in the real world without being particularly careful. So that's quite impressive. And the other impressive thing is that boot space in the plug-in hybrid is exactly the same as in the petrol version of the car, which is great because usually you lose a bit of boot space when you go for a plug-in hybrid. £364 a month with 1100 up front. Highest price we've seen on it's 528 a month. The lowest price we've seen on it's £4 a month less than it is right now. Average on it was 457. Currently 364. That's a really great deal on what I think is a superb car. I had the petrol version in for review recently, and the only problem with that was the MPG. And obviously on this one, that's not going to be a problem. VW T-Roc 1.5 TSI Black Edition, 368 a month with 1100 up front, 8.8 seconds to 62, 44 mpg, 150 brake horsepower, insurance group 24, and 445 litres of boot space. 411's been the average on that, 456 at its peak, and at its lowest point, it was 12p a month, less than it is right now. It's £368.51 a month with 1105 up front. Now, if you go for the R-Line version of the car instead of the Black Edition, that's a bit less. That's £350 a month with 1050 up front. It's just bang average, that price, where the Black Edition, you know, that is a significant saving over the average, and indeed when you compare it to the peak and everything. Just thought I'd point that out. Folks, just a very quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks. Next, we've got the Peugeot 408 1.2 136 GT automatic, 10.2 seconds to 62, 48 mpg, 471 litres of boot space, insurance group 21, 136 brake horsepower on that. Highest point on it was 632. On average, it's been 537. But right now, once again, is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months at £345 with 1,035 up front. Really nice thing to look at, nice car to drive. And I think that looks like a great price at the moment. Peugeot 3008 1.2 136 GT hybrid automatic, 345 a month with 1,036 up front. 588 litres of boot space in this one. Insurance group 24, 44.6 mpg and 10.2 seconds to 62. 394's been the average on it. 526 at its peak. Now, its lowest point, it was way less than this, but that was in June, and it was £288 a month. But you'll see the week before and the week after, it was £400 a month. So it might have just been a one-off, maybe a cancelled order or something along those lines. But the realistic average on it, it was 390, 380 quid a month for the longest period of time. And then more recently, it's been closer to this price, sort of 348. But looks like a decent deal. Massively popular cars, and of course it's in stock. Hyundai Tucson 1.6 turbo mild hybrid N-Line S automatic. This is one of the most popular cars on Lease Loco at pretty much all times, and that's because it's a hugely popular car, I guess, because it largely does everything most people would want. 1100 up front and 368 a month, 9.4 seconds to 62, 44 mpg, 160 brake horsepower, insurance group 18, and 577 litres of boot space. 411 on average, 509 at its peak, and it's been £1 less than this, and that's all. I think the Korean manufacturers at this moment in time are producing some absolutely brilliant cars, and they're highly underrated in my personal opinion. We've got the Mazda CX-60 next, the 2.5 litre plug-in hybrid, exclusive line, automatic, 5.8 seconds to 62, 327 brake horsepower, insurance group 38, and 570 litres of boot space. Price history on this one, 522 on average, 639 at its peak, and 366 at its lowest point. So we're a little bit above that, but we're still way beyond the average. And look at this, for up until November, it was like 570 a month, you know, fairly consistently. So 385 a month and 1155 up front on that one. Next, we've got the Nissan X-Trail, but this is the 7-seat version of it. Not an amazing price on this, but I know these are popular cars, and this one's in stock, so you won't have a wait. 7.2 seconds to 62, 44.8 mpg, 213 brake horsepower, insurance group 30, and 485 litres of boot space. 445 a month has been the average on it. 538 at its peak, currently 399 with 1200 up front. And then finally, we've got the Tiguan Allspace 1.5 TSI R-Line, automatic, 9.6 seconds to 62, 38.5 mpg, 700 litres of boot space, and insurance group 22, 1,369 up front and 456 a month. And that compares to an average of 499 and a peak of 593. Once again, it did go lower at one point. 413 it was at one point, which was an absolute steal. But again, it was for like 2 minutes. But for long periods of time over the year, this has been 500 quid a month, 490 a month, 500 a month again. So 456 with 1369 up front looks pretty blooming good. For those of you wondering where are the performance cars and premium cars and that kind of stuff, there are loads of deals available at the moment, but I don't think any of them are like exceptionally amazing and worthwhile putting in the video. So if you're into one of those, go and have a search around. Please use my link while you do it. And you might find something that appeals to you, but I don't think there's anything mind-blowing enough to stick it in a video at the moment. There are loads of great deals on these sort of family cars. And it's maybe because private buyers at the moment are stumbling a bit because what's going on with the economy and taxation and everything else. So that seems to be the real focus of the best deals right now. Folks, please remember to use the link to Lease Loco, and please check out my sponsors, ALA Insurance. And don't forget to use that code JIM10 to get yourself 10% off. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, the EV lease deals, the in-stock one, will come towards the end of the month. Probably the last week in Feb, something like that. But keep your eyes peeled. Please bookmark my link to Lease Loco. Every little helps, as Tesco say. And please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.